This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with our prize guy. We're here at the MXD Promotions Gym. Delighted to be joined by Ballymenia's newest pro, Carlos Pereira. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Yourself, Marta?
I am fantastic. I guess for you, probably in the final stages now at camp, you're 2 weeks out from making your professional debut. Tell me obviously how the thoughts are at this stage. I guess you've probably done a lot of the hard work by now, selling the tickets, promoting yourself and everything else, so you probably just can't wait to fight at this stage.
Yeah, I'm just excited, to be honest. It's all new, selling tickets and trying to do that part. But I like it as well. You know, it's just hard when you're training and trying to sell tickets. Sometimes it can feel like a lot. But yeah, feeling good. I'm now excited. I can't wait to get going, to be honest.
So obviously, when anybody I sort of speak to for the first time, I always sort of like to know a bit of the backstory. So, like, if I'm right in saying you're new to the professional game, you're new to boxing, to a high degree as well. Like, what age did you sort of decide that boxing was something you wanted to pursue?
Yeah, so it was quite late. I think I was either 27 or 28, and I got attacked at knife point, and it just made me realise how vulnerable you are, and that's when I got into martial arts. And at the time, COVID happened, and you couldn't train anywhere. But there was a guy, Eamon Loughran, he was world champion in the 90s, and he was training people from his garage, and that's where I started training boxing. And then just from training with him and speaking and his passion about the game, I just absolutely fell in love and became obsessed with it, and it's led to this.
So pretty much like somebody trying to attack you just sort of led you the moment you go, well, I need to be able to defend myself. I guess probably if I'm thinking someone's going to attack me with a knife, the last thing I want to do is to try and challenge back in a way. Just run, take to your feet and go. But you decided at that stage, I need to be able to learn to be able to defend myself. You know, martial arts in some form. I guess boxing would sort of teach you how to avoid. Well, in some degrees it probably could with footwork and things like that. So, like for you, it wasn't like the amount of stories I hear people in the past, to hear music coming from a gym, you see somebody going in, they're cautious. Like for you, it was your motivation for it was I want to be able to defend myself in case somebody tries to attack me again.
Pretty much. So I never had an idea that I wanted to do this or anything. It was just to learn to defend myself, and then I just became obsessed and fell in love. And once you're addicted, you're addicted.
Like, were you into boxing beforehand, or like were you just sort of looking at different avenues? Because like I can think of, you know, growing up and your parents always wanted to get into self-defense in some way. And my mum sent me to karate, and karate is probably the most boringest sport in the world. So, like, did you ever were you a big fan of boxing and things like that beforehand, and that's what led you to the path of going to former world champion Eamon Loughran? Was that what led to that, or?
So I liked boxing, but actually I loved the UFC and MMA a lot more. And that's actually when I started training to defend myself, I started training MMA. But my stand-up was crap. I was okay at jiu-jitsu. My stand-up was crap. And when COVID hit, I thought, right, I'm Ballymena, who's the best person I could reach out to improve my hands? And Eamon Loughran. And then once I started there, I just fell in love with boxing.
So the dream of MMA then was gone, and it was like, I'll punch my hands now instead of kicking with your feet, because I can't think of anything worse, kicked in the shins.
Exactly.
Or defending somebody's kick with your shins. Like you see the amount of injuries in the UFC and things like that. So in some ways you probably picked, well, in some degrees they're both as dangerous as each other. Probably boxing is more dangerous than UFC. Yeah,
probably, because UFC, you know, if you're under pressure, you can grab and grapple and take it to the ground. I suppose in boxing you can't really, you know, you can hold a wee bit, but yeah.
What led you, like, you know, I'm always intrigued, you know, people fall in love with the sport, like there's nothing cool about getting punched in the face, like, did you enjoy that buzz? Like, they'll sometimes say you could be the best shadow boxer in the world, but once you take a punch in the face, that's when you know if it's for you or not. Like, it's not an easy sport to get into, enjoyable wise, like, it takes probably that 1% that can enjoy it. Like, you enjoy getting punched in the face now?
I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, and I don't think that's a bad thing, because obviously you don't want to be getting hit. But I don't know, just something about it. I just loved that. First of all, it's an individual sport, and you know, if you succeed, it's on you. If you fail, it's on you. I think I really like that about it. I'm just obsessed with just learning and becoming better and improving. And then it can be slow at the start, but once you see those wee improvements, it's so addictive, and you just want to keep building and building.
For anybody that sort of doesn't know, sort of from that point to now, like you've trained with him in the locker room, you obviously been training with Ryan Burnett as well.
Yeah.
You train with obviously one of the legends in the fight game here in Pete Taylor.
Yeah.
Like you've sort of been about the circuit, sort of fair to say you've been a sponge in a lot of ways, just soaking it all in and probably trying to adapt your own style through everybody you train with.
Exactly, and I'm very grateful for everyone, you know, Eamon, Ryan Burnett, Pete Taylor, all of them, because you try and take wee things and, like you said, be a sponge and learn as much as you can from everyone. And yeah, I would say that I'm still finding my own style, but you try and take a wee bit from everyone and put it together and see what you can come up with.
So, obviously being a late starter, you've no amateur experience. I think you've had you've had a couple of white collar fights, is that correct?
Yeah, I would say probably about 14 white collar. But at that stage, the goal was always to get here. It was just for experience, and it was good, you know, because it got me out and got me fighting, got me a wee bit of experience.
That's what's good about the white collar scene now. As I said to you before we started, like, you know, you look at people like Fabio Wardley that never boxed as an amateur and had white collar fights, and now look where he is. Like, do you look at people like Fabio Wardley? Do you go and sort of look for people that don't have amateur experience, but they've maybe fought a white collar and them professional? Are you sort of focused on a lot of that more than looking at other people? Are you sort of trying to look at people that's similar to yourself and go, I want to follow in their footsteps?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think if you put the work in, anything's possible. Obviously, if you start it and you have that foundation as a kid, it's much better. But if you want something, you believe in it and put the work in, I believe it can be done. And like you're saying about Fabio Wardley, look at what he's done. So it's possible. And even in the domestic scene, you look at James Freeman. He came from a similar or the same background as myself.
Yeah.
And he's now 5 or 6-0 as a pro.
I think
5-0. And then also the likes of Paddy McCrory. I know he didn't come from the semi-pro scene, he came from the amateur, but you know, he's someone that you can look at and take inspiration, because I don't think he turned over pro till he was 29.
29, yeah.
And look what a career he's had, you know, so if it's possible for other people, why isn't it possible for you?
It's the inspiration you can find from everybody, you know. It's like everybody's got a different inspiration, but for you being a late bloomer to the sport, you're going to look at people like Theo Allen, fights in the same card as you,
Exactly.
around the same sort of age as well, and turning over. He has the amateur experience, but you look at people for this inspiration because that's what motivates you when the camps are hard, when you're cutting weight, you have a lack of sleep, you're eating crap food.
Yeah.
That's the things that inspire you to go, well, if they can do it, I can do it.
Exactly. It's taking that belief that if other people have achieved that, you know, these are normal people, so it's possible for you as well, but you have to put in the work. That's the difference.
You've been through quite a lot, I guess, in this journey in the last few years of sort of learning the ropes. Like, you obviously had a bad injury.
Yeah.
Last year as well. Like, and I think at some stage the doctor was telling you couldn't fight again. So,
Yeah.
like, you're writing people wrong already before you've even made your debut.
Yeah, and that was heartbreaking because I put so much work in, and then I was thinking to think it could all be taken away. But I just always told myself and kept believing that no, I am going to do it and it's possible. And you know, I'm very, very grateful that the surgery went well and I've recovered and here we are. But yeah, it was tough times. Anyone that went through an injury will know the moments of self-doubt and just everything you go through. Can be a lot of dark times. But I always just held on that there was light at the end of the tunnel, you know.
How's things changed for you? Obviously, I guess, you know, the people are saying you're turning over as a pro. Like, how's Ballymena and generally Ballymena's obviously a lot of great fighters down through the years. Like, how are you finding the people of Ballymena are coming out to support you? I guess, you know, the proof's in the pudding in 2 weeks' time with tickets and noise and everything else like that. But how are you finding Ballymena's taking to you becoming a professional?
Yeah, overwhelmed. Just, you know, all the messages on social media and people on the street stopping talking to you. And it means the world because you can't succeed on your own. Do you know what I mean? You need people. Without people buying tickets and coming to support you, well, we wouldn't get the opportunity. So it means a lot. So it does, and it's nice. You know, it is a nice feeling. People stopping, asking about the fight and messaging you. So it's been nice.
you've been obviously sparring quite a lot of people as well. Obviously you sparred Sean McComb,
Yeah.
Jazza Dickens, Paddy McCrory as well.
Yeah.
You know, you've been at a lot of the shows and stuff as well. Like, so is it going to feel surreal for you making your ring walk in 2 weeks' time from being in the SSE arena, being in the warehouse in the Red Cow in Dublin, watching these cards? Do you now, you're pretty much looking back into yourself from an opposite angle? Were you in the shorts and the gloves and you fighting rather than watching from the crowd?
I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's nervous, but excited nervous, you know, good nervous and excited. I can't wait to get going. And yeah, look, it's been a long journey, but now here we are, and the closer it gets, the more excited I am. And I want to put on a show and put on a good performance for everyone that's helped me, from sparring partners to coaches to just anyone that's been part of the journey and helped me got here. I want to put on a good performance for them and obviously also for myself as well.
Like it's a crazy card in some ways. Like when you probably think of cards you'd be on, you think of people a lot more high profile. Like every one of you is on this card or either making your debut or less than a pro of a year. So like I would nearly classify it up in fresh blood. I think is it fresh blood? I keep saying it's a fresh blood or new blood. Keep getting mixed up between the names, but it's more like a new kids on the block thing. So like there's nearly, I guess you could make a statement very early on. Like obviously, you know, we've seen people like Barry Reynolds obviously fighting there in stoppages. Bernardo Marin getting stoppage. Like you can make an impact very quickly, and it's funny in some ways because Paddy McCrory made his name from sparking someone out in the devilish.
I think I've seen that clip.
Folded like a deck chair. Lennox Lewis actually talked over it and obviously critiqued it and stuff afterwards. But like, you know, you've that sort of pressure coming in. But at the end of the day, it's your career, and if you don't stop someone or it goes 4 rounds, a tight fight, you've made your mark. So in some ways there is pressure, but there's no pressure.
No, absolutely. There is pressure in a way that people are paying. You know, they're ordering money to come and watch, and you want to perform for them and put on a show because you want those people that come and watch you to have a good night and go home and say, you know, what a great night that was, and come and support you again. But at the same time, I think just enjoying it, because you only make your debut once. Dan actually said to me, look, just enjoy it. Your debut, you only make it once. So, you know, don't get too caught up. Remember to enjoy it as well. And I think that's what I'll try and do. Obviously, put on a good performance and take it seriously. But enjoy it as well and soak it in.
That adrenaline rush you're going to have, like you're going to come out of the ring and you're going to be going again. You know, it's like when you do something the first time, it's going, I want to do it again, I want to do it again.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're signed, Ian Cochrane's your manager. Obviously, he's been like a sort of manager on the rise. Obviously, I know Rudy that you're good friends with. He manages him and manages quite a lot of Irish fighters. Like, how did that sort of conversation go? You know, did you sort of have to sell yourself quite a lot because of the lack of experience? Like, how did that link up with Ian come about?
No, not even. So Ian manages Rudy Farrell, and I'd be really good friends with Rudy, and obviously was training in Smith boxing with Terry Smith and Rudy, and it was just natural. He manages Rudy, and got speaking with Ian, and he came on board and wanted to help out, and also very grateful for him getting me on this card and getting me the opportunity.
Talk to me obviously about the style. I guess, you know, you're probably still working on your style in some ways. The good thing is you don't have the amateur experience, you have the white collar practice. So in some ways, for anybody that's coaching you, it's probably a dream in some ways, because there's not a lot of mistakes being made. It's easy to correct mistakes because, you know, you haven't had like 100 fights and then it's hard to change something. So it's probably easy for, you know, the likes of Dan, obviously Terry's training and stuff in the past. You're probably easy to train in a lot of ways for them. So like, what sort of style can fans expect to see of you on the 1st of August?
I don't know. I think, you know, sometimes I like to be flashy, sort of hands down. Other times I like to keep the hands up and just stick to the basics and fundamentals. So I'm still finding my style, but I'm definitely, you know, I'm coming to perform, be sharp, put the pressure on when the opportunity's there, and just do my best and put on a great show for people. But yeah, I would say I'm still very much finding my own style, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
It might take you a while to find it. Like we see so often that people in the first year as a pro that have been an amateur boxer, they struggle with it for the first year because they're adapting to it. Like I keep going back to this, but it's easier for you in the fact that you haven't had that to fall back on, so you could probably take that, you know, hit the ground running.
Yeah, I think it's more, they say in the pros, it's sitting down on your punches, isn't it? And just having that more pro style where rather than scoring points, you're looking to hurt people. I suppose that's the main thing.
Jacob Marner, obviously your opponent, obviously he's fought 12 times. We've seen him fight quite a few times. I think the last one was in the Ulster Hall. He fought James Freeman in the Ulster Hall earlier this year. Like, do you sort of look at much of opponents? Like, I guess you look at him where he hasn't been stopped and he's durable. He's going to give you tough rounds. Like, do you watch footage of him, or do you leave it to coaches in the corner to prepare a game plan?
No, just leave it to coach and just go in and perform. I think it's a brilliant fight for me. In order to get experience, obviously I'm new. You know, I'm new to the pro game, so I need the right fights to grow and develop. And I think it's a great fight. He's tough. He's had 12 fights, so he's had experience. And it's a good learning fight. You know what I mean? That's what I want to do. I want to go in, get the rounds, and learn and keep building.
I guess in some ways, you know, when you know that an opponent's durable, like, we're not saying that you're not going to stop him, but you ideally like to have four good rounds, because if you're out there and you get a first round stoppage, what have you really learned?
Exactly. This is it. Sometimes you're nearly better going the distance and getting the rounds in. Obviously, if it comes, it comes. But like you're saying, you know, sometimes you stop someone in the first round, you don't really learn anything.
Definitely, obviously, it's been quite known as being a hot box. Obviously, we know here in the gym with Dan, obviously, you probably train you to that magnitude. Like, you probably feel like by the end of the 4-round fight, you'll have done 12 rounds. Like, Devon is just one of them venues that's probably the best for atmosphere, but the worst for fighting. And have you fought there in the white collar fights before, so you know what it's like?
Yeah, I think I've done about maybe 6 fights there, but it's quite good because, like you're saying, the venue, and when the crowd's in, it's actually quite noisy because it's small, so it's a good buzz and it's a good atmosphere.
You've had experience to bank on knowing you've been there before, rather, you know, you'll be walking out and you'll be sweating because the nerves are already tripping you, but at least they know you've already fought there, you'll know every inch of the ring. Yeah,
I actually like that, you know, the nerves. I do get them on when I'm fighting, but I like it. I love that feeling. You know, you're nervous, and then just when the music hits, when you walk out, it almost all goes. I actually really like that feeling.
We sort of spoke earlier, obviously, about the journey you're sort of coming on. You know, getting sponsors and things like that involved. Have you any sponsors, obviously, you want to give a shout out to, because this is a platform for you, and it's not me. We're going, no, you can't mention people. Any sponsors, any people you want to give a shout out for their help in getting you to this point?
Yeah, absolutely. So Antrim Golden Inn, they actually helped me with my medical and for this fight as well. And We Have Knee Tires, they've also helped me out with the debut. Just thank you for them, you know, coming on board and helping me with this journey, you know, costs and travelling and training camp. Very, very grateful, and I hope as I grow, we can grow together.
Obviously, I know the tickets are very limited. That's a better word to use. They're very limited now. Have you got many tickets left to sell before your debut?
Not many, so I'm actually surprised because I thought it was going to be harder than what it's been, and it has been hard. Don't get me wrong, but so thank God I've managed to get rid of a lot of tickets. So they're running low. So
anybody watching this is obviously still looking for a ticket. Don't be leaving it to fight week, because there might not be any left by then.
Exactly, and then fight week as well. You want to focus, do you know what I mean? You don't want to be running around after people in fight week, so I would like to get it all done before then.
And like the profile you have, obviously as part of the Fela, obviously the card, like Jamie Conlon, obviously part of the card, Paddy McCrory, part of the card, like you're sort of surreal in some ways to go, you know, what an opportunity you're having, be able to impress people that, you know, Conlon Sport are obviously part of the bigger cards. Like you can make an impression here and get on the bigger cards to come.
Exactly. I'm just going to go in, try and do my best, get a good performance, and just keep positive and keep building. That's what it's all about. We're all on the same journey, so it's just keeping positive, do your best, and I think sometimes as well, if you're positive and grateful, it attracts more. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. And like activity-wise, like how active do you want to be? Like we're seeing, obviously, we're potentially going to have a really big end the year. Like how many times would you be like? Say ideally like to be out in your debut year?
As many as possible. I would say Hopefully, touch wood, I can stay injury free. You know, that was my first ever big injury with the tendon. So keep healthy and out as much as possible, because the more you're out, the more you learn as well. You know, every fight's going to help you build that experience. So yeah.
Well, look, it's obviously great to finally get you on for a chat. We'll be there in 2 weeks' time, obviously, for your debut, so we'll get a chat with you afterwards. And obviously, you moved to 1-0 as a pro. I know it's nearly going, I can't look too far ahead, but I guess me on the opposite end, I'm trying to be positive for you and going, hopefully it's 1-0. But thanks for obviously having a chat with us. All the very best of luck for the last week or so of camp before now you get into fight week, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you afterwards to see how you get on.
Appreciate it. Thank
Cheers,
you.
Carlos.
Cheers.